Hello, career thought leaders. It's good to see you today. And we are going to be talking about the application issues and what's going on, not just oh, I'm going into a black hole or I need to beat the bots, which we don't talk that here. We don't say those words here because it's all about understanding how hiring happens, a little bit of the source of hire data that we do have from credible sources, and understanding how to network in and target your way to rise above the AI slop that recruiters are seeing. So that's what we're going to talk about today. What's going on with some of the data? What's going on with recruiters in response to it? And then how can you help your clients really cut through in two different ways, which we've been talking about a little bit. We're going to bring more information and some different thoughts to it. Being the referred candidate, as well as making sure those documents are targeted to the jobs that you do apply to. So go ahead and say hello. Let me know that you're joining us. And as we share some of this data, I can't wait to hear what you think and how it resonates for you and your clients. So first, before we go any further, there is a good bit of data that says the number of applicants per open role is skyrocketing, right? That this is data from an Ashby, who is an applicant tracking system or a hiring service. And they have millions of applications going through their systems. And this is what they're seeing across Europe, across the US, this triple in applications. Now, I know that there are some industries where this isn't true, and there are likely, even in certain industries, companies where this isn't true. And that's part of our goal with clients, right? Is to help them find the bright spots, find the companies who maybe aren't experiencing as much of this onslaught of applications. And we're going to talk about how you help them do that today, right? How do you help them find those places that aren't inundated with applications? And what do you do to stand out if you're going to be amongst this onslaught of applications? So yes, there are more applicants than there's ever been before. There's an increase in this online use of applications. And what are companies doing in response? That's part of what we're going to talk about today. Hi, Anne. It's good to see you. Hope your travels are going well. Ira, it's good to see you as well. Dominique, thanks for joining me. Please feel free to share your thoughts and your questions as we go through this today. So we know there are more applicants than before, but what we have been talking about but didn't have this specific information about is the bots that are applying. So there's some research survey, I don't know what you'd call it, from Gartner that shows 25% of applications will be bots in just the next 18 months or so. That's kind of hard to believe. I've said it before. I don't understand why people would apply to a job if they are a fake bot or, not really a person. But this is what's happening. And so companies are figuring out how to screen them out. And we were talking about this the other day, that I don't think people are using like an AI scoring tool. They just haven't proven to be very accurate to identify AI content. However, what they can do easily is identify you if you apply through one of these services that attaches their email to your application. So I've been picking on a few of the services that I don't know if they even do this, so I'll just make something up, right? Let's say we've got XYZ Apply, and XYZ Apply is one of these tools that will automate your applications for you. But what they do is they create a new email address for you to do that application. And it's really obvious, like xyzapply.io. And so when I apply to these ATS systems, they can already block URLs in their system so that they could block spam. So now it's really easy to just say, okay, don't put any applicants from this email address into the system, or send them automated reply, or put them in a separate bucket so I can look at them quickly. Whatever the company decides to do in their programming, which is why resume parsing systems and applicant tracking systems are all different, because not only do they have the out of the box features, the company can decide what they do with a lot of it. And the applicant tracking system is taking in the applicants and storing them depending on how the companies have it set. Yes, it might score and order things. Very rarely does it leave people that rejection letter just because of a score or something. That is a myth. But it is coming in, and there are certain safeguards that they can put into place. And this is one of the very important safeguards that they are using. If it comes from this domain, red flag it, remove it, whatever. So your clients, thinking they're being savvy and going and using this online tool that applies automatically for them, and they may actually be like closing the door before they even get their foot in the door, because it's easy to identify those applications. So helping clients, one, know that this is happening. Two, I said there may be places where these automated systems could be helpful, but we have to know how the system works, what your application looks on the other side. Is it setting up one of these dummy email addresses for you? You have to know all of that before you start to use the tool. And even then, you want to be super careful about the way that it targets your resume and does the pieces that are easily identifiable as AI, because it could be hurting you before you even have to worry about the black hole, right? You're creating the black hole yourself when you're applying like that. So, hi, Robert. Thanks for joining us. That's the first thing I wanted to talk about, because it's important. I learned about it fairly recently from watching some recruiters talk on LinkedIn, and we just have to be aware that that's happening. So now, when we are shouting into the void and we feel like we're getting all this, lack of response, or maybe feel like we're getting the automated rejections, that's just another thing to look at and make sure we're not bringing it upon ourselves. Because as the bots continue to apply to jobs, recruiters are going to, and companies are going to continue to figure out ways to safeguard themselves against these bad actors or time wasters, whatever they might be. So if your clients are applying to tons of jobs and not getting responses, what are you doing to help them get through that? What are you doing to help them move through that? Drop a yes if this is happening to some of your clients. And we're going to talk about some solutions, and I'd love to hear your additions or thoughts as we do that. So there are some times that the easy apply button can be a good option. On LinkedIn, the new LinkedIn jobs feature, we went through that a few weeks ago. The easy apply option on LinkedIn is a good thing to do, because there are companies that prioritize those applicants that are using LinkedIn as an applicant tracking system. And so it's actually helping them store and communicate, and they're using that tool. And you using easy apply can help get through that better. That's a good use of something like easy apply, although it's really not easy apply. I don't know if you've tried it recently, but we went through it in one of our membership calls a few months ago, or about a month ago. And it is not easy. I was just trying to see what the process looked like and what it's asking for. And it can bring in from your LinkedIn profile, but as we know, that's not targeted, right? So you're copying and pasting your resume into the blocks on LinkedIn's easy apply. It is not easy apply. And it could still be a good thing to do. Here's the thing with easy. All of us want an easy button. I'm guessing there's some area in your life where you wanted or have wanted an easy button, whether that's growing our business or losing weight or dealing with some kind of challenging communications in our life, job search, right? We all want an easy button. And we see people that it looks easy for. The person seems like they can eat anything and be fine, or that person who jumps from job to job and doesn't seem to have to try that hard. And that's great. Maybe they do have it easier in that area of their life for one reason or another, but I'm guessing that there's another area of their life where they too wish they had an easy button. But not most things don't work that way for most of us. And so when we think about job search or whatever it might be, it's going to take a strategy, consistent execution, and yeah, maybe a little bit of luck or being in the right place at the right time, which is why we have to be places, is so that we give ourselves that opportunity to be in the right place at the right time. If you are at home on your couch, being in the right place at the right time is going to be really difficult. So how do we help people keep moving so that they can have opportunities open up for them? And those are the two strategies that I want to go through now. The first, of course, is the online applications. And you might say, well, isn't it networking? It's networking. But let's not go there first. Let's go first to online applications. And the reason I want to talk about this, and I showed this today in my LinkedIn post, that there are data points that show using online applications strategically can be worthwhile. So I'll pull up this visual that I shared in my live around my LinkedIn page today, and we'll go through it quickly. In case you missed it or you had questions about it, put them in the chat, let me know. So this goes through it step by step. And this is just one data point, but when you look across all the source of hire studies, they are pretty consistent. And we've been looking at this data since at least 2017. We started our certified hidden job market class in 2015. And I will admit that when I started that class and I named it that name, I had bought into the whole 80% of jobs aren't posted thing. It's not true. I went to my first HR conference and right away realized how off base that was. And this internal conversation that we had had in the career space was really off base. And this is part of the data that I saw even then, 2016, that changed my tune. Now, we haven't changed the name of the program, and here's why. Because no one searched for balanced job search, right? No, people are out there searching for hidden job market, right? I need that golden ticket. I want to uncover it. And I want my coaches to be the people they find, not the scam artists that may be trying to say, oh, pay me $10,000 and I'll find you one of those hidden jobs. No, I want them to find my coaches who are trained in executing a balanced, consistent job search. And part of that balanced, consistent job search is understanding how job boards work and understanding that 60% of all applicants come through job boards, but only 37% of hires, which actually isn't bad, right? We can't ignore job boards because they are considered a quality source of hire. It's the first thing I heard a recruiter say at that recruiting conference I went to in 2015, and was like, oh my gosh, right? We're not telling the whole story all the time in this industry, and that is hurting job seekers. We have to be careful of that. On the careers page, that's applying directly to the careers page on the company website. 12% of applicants, 23% of hires. So it's seen as a higher source of quality hire to hire from my careers page than a job board. Why? Because those people sought me out. They applied on my site, maybe less bots depending on how that career site's set up. And so this is one of those things that every job seeker should be doing. You have a list of target companies. You go to those companies' websites weekly, maybe twice a week, depending on your industry and how fast things are moving. And you apply on that site to the jobs that you're qualified for. Now, I will say that some career sites, horrible. We were trying to find a specific job that had shown up on LinkedIn on this company's site. It was ridiculous to find the job. But you keep trying if it's really a good job for you. So I apply on LinkedIn to the easy apply. And then I also apply on the careers page on the company because I don't know, are they using LinkedIn as a ATS? And if I don't apply through lazy apply, easy apply, I might get left out. I don't want that. So I'm going to apply on easy apply, and then I'm going to go and apply on their website as well. Copy and paste, keep things in your clipboard, make it as easy as you can. Just get it done. Then custom sources. So this is one that many of us may not be tapping into enough. Custom sources are those places that the small businesses in your industry are using. Now, one of the things that's not on here that should be is Facebook groups, because your small businesses and the people that work at them that are trying to help the small business recruit, but it's not their job, they are in Facebook groups. and they are commenting on posts. They're posting that job in the Facebook group. Maybe it's a community group, maybe it's a small business group for that community, maybe it's a mom's group in that community, but those groups are gold mines for identifying some of these custom sources, or can be a custom source in and of themselves. So 3 times as likely to be hired when you apply through some of those custom sources. And a Facebook group might be a custom source, or it might actually even turn into a referral. If your client is networking, they're building the relationships, and they're able to reach out to those people through those communication channels and get a relationship that turns into a referral, which are 11 times more likely to be hired. Not necessarily because of the percent of hires here. And, we got to look at that. It's 11% of hires, but only 2% of people are doing that work. So these are the people that are setting the easy button aside, setting the desire for the easy button aside, and getting out there and doing the work to network. And that, of course, is strategy number 2. So strategy number 1 is use the job boards, use the company site. Don't miss out on something that's a good fit. And just because this data is going around and I feel like we need to look at it, there is a study from the Ladders from 2018 that says, and I'm trying to find it, like, what tab is it on? Okay, there is a study from the Ladders from 2018 that showed you were most likely to get an interview from a job where you had 50 to 70%, 75% of the qualifications. You're most likely to get an interview. This is an important thing right here, right? Two points. One, this data is from 2018, a better market than we're in right now. And 2, this was about getting an interview, not a job. So interview, not job. I'll try to make it a little bigger. So this is saying that if you have 50% of the job requirements, that's where the little red arrow is going, 50 to, like I said, about 70%, maybe 75, then that's where your best chance of getting the interview was. So the little hump is 50 to 75% of the job requirements. And you'll see people quote this and they'll say, you're most likely to get the job, or you can get the job, but that isn't what this said. It said interview. So that's important. So this is good because I think it tells people, hey, if you got 50%, apply. Sure. If you have 90 to 100%, you may actually look at one in the industry, network around. I mean, you should still apply, but you may also want to look at, is there a next level job that you really should be targeting? Because people don't necessarily, in some industries and some levels, want to hire somebody who's got 100%, because that could mean you're overqualified, those things. Maybe not, depends on the industry, depends on what's going on. Just recently saw a recruiter saying, that she loves people that have 100%. So it's going to depend. Still want to apply. And if you're consistently not getting anything back, even though you have 100%, first, let's analyze that and make sure that's true. Second, okay, you may be overqualified for those jobs. And what is the next level job up? Is there a job that is a better fit for you where you're actually more in that 70% range and could get more traction? Experiment and see. Remember, no golden ticket, but we have to keep trying, evaluating, and going through the process to find out what is going to work. So we're thinking about this. Now, I don't have a fancy study to show you, but I will say that there is a DeVry Career Advisory Board study that was done in 2015, a little older, but a little bit more like our current market today. It was a little bit tighter. And it said that people who had 75% of the qualifications were most likely to get the job. So that's why I have always said, if you have around 75% of the requirements, applying cold makes the most sense. So I could see like 60 to 75%, 60 to 80%. That's where your best ROI is going to be in online applications. Okay, so let's shift into referrals. So referrals means that you know someone who is willing to vouch for you for this role that is open, or maybe for a role that is going to be open. So there's some great data from Lou Adler that just shows a lot of the hiring happens before something is posted publicly. Internal hires, referrals, ways that people are collecting and, collecting those names before something is posted. They may still post it, but they have these people that are already kind of, got a fast track. They may still interview other people, which I know is frustrating. However, it gives you an opportunity to get in front of people and become that known quantity for the next time something is open, even if they already have something this time. So don't turn those down. If you get an interview, do your best, even if you think they might have somebody already, because it's an opportunity to build that relationship, maintain that relationship so that you can be the known quantity next time. And that's the hard part about networking. It is a long-term play. It's a career-long, hopefully, play where you are building and engaging and maintaining relationships so that you can be that known quantity, or maybe you can help someone else when your company needs someone too. Research target companies, start getting introductions, start meeting people, start going to things that give you the opportunity to meet people and build relationships. You can do it strategically. I loved strategic networking, right? When I go places where I know there's the right people and we're having conversations that are on point. Cocktail hour? No, not my thing, right? As industry events, yes, I'm there. So you want to help people figure out what works for them, but it has to, in some ways, always be strategic, especially if you're job searching, because we're looking at target companies and where might I meet those people, or how could I get introduced to them? And I'm not just trying to win the networking lottery of who new might I meet that will, sweep me off my feet. It's that I also have people I already know, like, and trust that I can connect with and see if they can have those introductions to people in or one step closer to my target companies. That's how you get there. And it's not a straight line, but let's be honest, neither is applying online when you have a 2 to 5% chance every time you apply online of getting that job. It's really not any faster to do that than to network. It just feels faster. It feels like a straighter line, but it's molasses, right? It's a crawl. And we want to help our clients do both. Get them online, get them in the job boards, uncover opportunities that way, put more companies on your target list that way, and then start doing the networking you need to do to become the known quantity in those companies that you want to work for. You have both plates spinning. It's not an either or game. And I realize that it's exhausting because most of us go through that all the time for our business development very similarly, right? And that's the work that we have to do to get the outcomes that we want. And that's hopefully the benefit of it too. The silver lining, if you will, is that if you do the work, you identify the companies, you do this proactive job search, that you'll end up where you want to be, not just where there's an opening. Because opportunities are things we create. Openings are the things people are fighting over. And we don't have to just be in that fight. We do kind of want to be in that fight when it makes sense, but we can also get in around that and build more opportunity if we're thinking a little bit bigger picture. Oh, this was never accurate. Oh, Thea, I'm so glad you asked this. This was never from any kind of study. I really, for one of our things in the industry, please stop quoting this data. It was never true. We have no idea how many jobs are posted and how many aren't. That, like, how anybody ever even thought that this could be stated. So I have tried and tried and tried to find the where this data came from. The best thing I can find is a 1980s article from the Harvard Business Review where people reported in how they got hired. And 70% of them said they got hired through networking. It never said that those positions weren't posted. Because remember, we can post the position, but then hire somebody we knew, or we could post the position, right? I mean, it doesn't negate that the position is posted, that someone gets hired through networking. So that's the data, and it was from a 1980 survey. So I don't even know that that's data we want to continue to promote right now. Go look at the source of hire studies that show, right, that 11 times more likely to get the job if you're referral. There's tons of valid data points. If you're in our certified hidden job market community, we're putting together some new data points for you to share around this. So keep your eye out on that. But there are valid data points in the job fight data, in the Ashby data, career plug, which is the link that's in my LinkedIn post on my personal page today. Share the things that are real, that still are compelling. But if we make things up, we lose our credibility as an industry, perhaps as an individual. So this 70% of jobs not being posted thing has to die. It has to die. And I've seen some people trying to do some mathematical gymnastics with the Department of Labor data and how many positions are open versus how many postings are there, and supposedly think they're getting there. But how are they looking at postings? Like, sure, if you're just talking the major job boards, maybe only 30% of jobs are posted on the major job boards, but that is not the end all be all of posted jobs, which is again why it's so important we help our clients understand custom sources and ways that they can find open positions outside of those big job boards that may be too expensive for a company to post on, but it doesn't mean they're not posting it. It just means it may not be on those specific platforms that our client is looking. So I really hope we can squash that data point, because I really think it hurts our credibility more than it helps our clients do anything. So thank you for asking that. All right. Yes. Oh, thanks, Robert. So good to see you all today. And pull marketing instead of push marketing. And this idea that relationships and the way that we move in our careers is so much more than just this job search for most of our clients. And that's the big lesson that they can take away from our work with them. Not just the job that they're going to get this next time, which, yes, they will get faster if we have a structure and some ways to help them move through it, but also that they can do it in a way that adds to their career for their lifetime. So as you know, we have two things coming up. Well, one of them started today, our certified hidden job market class. We had a great time going through all the source of hire data before we dive into the strategies for job search over the next 5 weeks. If you're interested in that program, it's careertl.com/CHJMC, Certified Hidden Job Market Coach. I'll drop it in the link later, and you can let me know if you have any questions. And then also our AI micro-credentials that start on Friday with a foundation session. How can we use AI in a way that adds value instead of, what are they calling it now? AI slop. We don't want to do that. So last question here. Yes, the ATS is not auto-rejecting emails or resumes. For the most part, you have a small percentage of companies that may be doing that, but it's usually not because of the resume or a score. Usually, if a client is auto-rejected, it's because they didn't answer a question the way that the company needed it to be answered. Are you legally able to work in the US? Yes or no? Do you have 5 years of experience in this? Yes or no? They call them knockout questions. And those are the things that are more likely to get an automated rejection than anything on your resume, and especially formatting. Man, I wish I could move the myth away that formatting is what's causing your resume to get rejected, because that just gives us an easy scapegoat, when those of us who work in this field, we know 99% of the time it's because, well, the client doesn't have a great focus, and so therefore they don't have the right content. And yes, it's about keywords, but it goes so much deeper to the strategy of really connecting your stories of skill demonstration to the skills that they're looking for in the job. Not about a list. You can't just, keyword stuff that. It's got to prove the skills. And that's the connection that most of our clients have a hard time making, especially when they're in career transition. That's what a company needs to see, whether it's a human or a technology looking for it. If they don't see the skills demonstrated that they're looking for, that's how you fall to the bottom of the pile. And that's the hardest thing for a candidate to do, is tell those stories that demonstrate the skills that are relevant in a way that shows they're relevant, again, especially when they're making that career transition. Or of course, there might have been an internal candidate or someone knew, and that makes the pool even smaller, and our client gets eliminated, even though they may have had a strong resume. And we have to help them understand that too. It's finding all the ways that they can work through the process and not over analyzing or over obsessing about certain things, especially the resume, which can keep people in analysis paralysis. So thank you for bringing that up. Okay, so we will be back here next Tuesday for our next Trend Tuesday Live. If you are enjoying these sessions, let us know topics we can cover, questions that your clients have that we can bring in. And of course, we'll see you next Tuesday. Subscribe if you haven't to our YouTube channel, or follow on Career Thought Leaders LinkedIn channel. And we will see you next Tuesday. Thank you, everyone.